What's a JET program? Can you explain it?
It helps you become an ALT, so an assistant language teacher. As an ALT, you work with a homeroom teacher. I ended up going to a super small island.
What about salary?
Salary?
Is there anything that you wish you had known before coming to Japan about JET program?
I really wish...
Hi everyone, how are you? This is Ricky. Today I'm going to interview foreigners. What's it like working in Japan as an English teacher, especially with JET programs? So let's see. On my channel, I dive into Japanese culture and the lifestyle with both Japanese people and foreigners in Japan. So it's a perfect channel for anyone thinking about traveling to or living in Japan. Plus, you can learn real everyday Japanese by watching this video like this. So if you haven't yet, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and follow me on my Instagram where I show my daily life in Tokyo. Alright, let's get started. Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jake. I'm from San Francisco, California in America.
So how long have you been in Japan?
I've been here for about 7 years now. So I've lived 4 years in Amami Oshima in Kagoshima, which is like a small island. And I've lived in Tokyo for about 3 years now.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an English teacher in Japan, and I started here by the JET program, which is a pretty popular program to come into Japan.
Okay, so what's a JET program? Can you explain it?
Yeah, so JET program is it's like a company that helps you, or a program that helps you become an ALT, so an assistant language teacher in Japanese schools. So it can range anywhere from kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, and high school. So a lot of people usually go into this program by applying in their home countries. Yeah.
Okay, well, is it the best way to come to Japan as an English teacher? Or easiest way, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good way to get into Japan if you want to, but I won't lie and say it is pretty hard, I believe. So you do it's a pretty heavy application process, and it takes about a year to do. The application process is you start off in, when was it? Yeah, in the fall. And then you have to basically do a personal essay of why you want to go to Japan and why you're interested in Japanese culture. And then you have to get 2 letters of references from either teachers that or some company, if you're working for a company at that time, maybe the lead boss. So yeah, there's 2 recommendations. But this information is from 2018 when I applied, so it may have changed from that point. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much. So you have experience of working in Japan as an English teacher with JET program, right?
Yes.
So from that, what's the pros and cons working in Japan as an English teacher with JET program?
So some of the pros that you get to work in the Japanese schools and work with the kids very closely. So you get to work in the classrooms, eat lunch with them, hang out with them during their break times or their recesses. Maybe some of the cons would be your placement. I think a lot of people go into it thinking, oh, I want to get Tokyo, I want to get Osaka. But you're most likely not going to get those places. For example, for me, I applied for a really countryside place like Oita. And well, Fukuoka is not countryside, but it's in Kyushu. So I thought I was going to get those spots, but I ended up going to a super small island. So I think the population is maybe around 40,000 people in total. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, you're not guaranteed your spot, basically. So if you're okay with that and you're open with the idea of living in the Japanese countryside, then I say that's, really good.
Okay, all right. So is it the best way to start working in Japan as an English teacher? Or do you recommend some other, ways to come here?
Yeah, I would say if you want to live in Japan and you don't mind where you're going to be placed, then I would say JET program is a really good program. I won't say it's perfect, as they say in the program, that everyone's experience will be different. But if you're okay with that, then I think it'll be a good way to get in. Some other ways I know people get in are usually through using gaijinpots.com, I believe. And they usually get English teaching jobs or jobs using Japanese tourist companies. And those are also good too, but they are a little bit more challenging unless you live in Japan. So if you don't live in Japan, then it gets a little harder. But the potential is still there. I've known people that also can get jobs outside of Japan where they just do online Skype interviews Zoom interviews and then come here. So yeah.
How do you compare working as an ALT versus, working for English school?
Well, working as an ALT, I would say you get a little bit more leeway with things because it is also an exchange program. It's not just working in Japan. You're learning the culture, you're learning this and that. And so you have a little bit more time to do those things. But as an Eikaiwa teacher, it's not so much. It is a job or working 8 hours, but you don't really get that cultural aspect, I would say. But it's also better in a sense where as an ALT, you work with a homeroom teacher to teach English together. But in an Kaiwa school, you just teach yourself. It's only you in the classroom with the kids. Usually the classes aren't as big, but it's still more manageable. So I think for me, I like, doing things on my own way versus like following another teacher. So the Kaiwa school fits better for me in terms of my teaching wants, I would say.
Okay, so what about like working hours, salary, and the work environment? Is there any difference?
Not really. It's a typical 8-hour job, both for ALT and for an English conversation school. I would say though, in terms if you're going to work at an English conversation school, they do events on weekends. So you might have to work an extra day out of the week, out of the month. So if you're okay with that, then English schools are pretty not too bad.
What about salary?
Salary, with Jet program, it is a lot better because it's a government funded program. But as an Kaiwa teacher, it's about the same in general for everyone, I think, like working in Japan, right? So the average salary of 280,000 or something. So it's not great, but it's livable, basically, in terms of living in Japan.
Okay, so also, do you have any advice for like working with Japanese coworkers?
Yeah, definitely. So in America, it's pretty typical to not hang out with your coworkers that much. Like there are people that do if you're really close, but usually we like to keep our lives like a little separate from business or from work and personal lives. But in Japan, it is a huge thing to talk with your coworkers, right? To go to like nomikais and you guys have that term nomi communication. So I would recommend definitely if you have a chance to go out with your coworkers, always take it. If you don't have the energy for it, that's completely fine. Don't worry about it. There'll probably be other chances. But I know that, if you do show the effort, then they really appreciate it. And it'll help you get your connection a lot better. So if you're doing an ALT job and you're working with another teacher, it's a lot better once you like hang out with Tanaka sensei and then had a couple of drinks and then next class you're like, hey, what's up? Versus, being separate. Because there is a thing in the ALT community where like, a lot of teachers don't speak English at all. And that you work with like elementary school teachers. So, you do need to try to build that like kind of like that relationship, I feel sometimes. But yeah, if you do that, everyone's always interested in you, I would say, because you're a foreigner, no matter which job you do in. And as long as you try to like make that effort and, they make the effort back, then it will all be good, I think.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you wish you had known before coming to Japan? I mean, about Jet program.
Yeah. I really wish emphasization on studying Japanese was more, because if you do get put in those countrysides and you go to like a restaurant and the person doesn't understand anything that you're saying and they're just like freaking out, it's not a good feeling, right? So study Japanese. It's really, there's a lot of resources out there, a lot of influencers and websites that you can study off of, YouTube and TikTok and all. So take those and you'll go pretty far, I think. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Do you speak Japanese?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Do I do an introduction?
Okay, you want to say something in Japanese? Yeah.
はい。私の名前はジェイクです。僕はカリフォルニア州ですけど、今東京に住んでます。日本は本当にいい場所ですよ。来てください。
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching so far. How was it? I hope you found anything new from this video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on future videos. Again, thank you so much for watching until the end. See you next time.